almost all the young women are going for the farthest socials.
I'm right now speaking to the people who still have pronouns on your LinkedIn. I can't believe that's real. You wouldn't kiss her on the forehead?
Every week, we are in a new location.
But if the content sucks, it sucks anyway. Hello.
Hello, indeed. Welcome to episode 6
Of Approach the Bench. I always do that and you mess it up.
I'm sorry. We're not always synchronized. That's how we are. But this episode, just to give you a brief rundown, we're going to be talking about why so many young women our age are voting for Democrats and why young men are not really doing that. They're going the other way. We're also going to discuss a little bit about whether or not you should use pronouns in the workplace as a Christian conservative. Kind of newsflash, we're going to say you probably shouldn't. By probably, I mean you definitely shouldn't. And then, of course, we're going to finish with
girl problems.
the classic. And we have a lot of girl problems. This is a different kind of episode because we're taking a lot more feedback. We had a lot of questions submitted. And so this sheet you're seeing in my hands, it's because we have like endless amounts of content to cover.
And actually, by a lot, he means a lot. You know, there was some comments that I received from someone in particular who doubted that we actually got any feedback and thought we were just making it
We're
all
just
up.
completely lying.
Is that true?
I mean, our audience might be entirely manufactured.
Yeah.
It's possible that everybody viewing this is just AI.
AI.
It could be chatbots run out of like China or Ukraine or some random back alley.
Yeah.
We would never know.
No.
The only thing that makes me think it's real is that my friends walk up to me and are like, great episode. But they might just be saying that because they're nice to us.
That might be. Yeah. I
And
got
also-
that from people who I'm like, there is no way you've watched more than 15 minutes of one episode.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, also, we should give an idea of where we are too.
Yeah, sure.
Probably important.
Sure. So we're in the Charlestown Navy Yard here in Boston, Massachusetts. Behind us is the USS Cass and Young, which is a World War II destroyer, fought in many fronts. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so that actually, it was in the Pacific Theater in World War II. So Cass and Young was a guy who fought at Pearl Harbor, and then he died at Guadalcanal. And they commissioned a ship, this naval destroyer, after him.
Yeah.
And it fought in Leyte Gulf, Okinawa. Absolutely awesome destroyer right here. Really happy to have in the back. And of course, the even more famous
even
one.
cooler is Old Ironsides, which you can kind of make out the mast sticking up behind the Cass and Young. Old Ironsides is USS Constitution, fought in the War of 1812 against the British.
The oldest Navy ship in the U.S. Navy.
Yeah,
right?
that is still like technically active. There's naval soldiers who man it and give tours and stuff like that even today. But famously, the iron balls of the British cannons were just bouncing off of this amazing American timber battleship.
That's how it works.
Yeah, very
God bless
cool,
America.
very cool.
Love this country.
It's the best thing. If you're in Boston ever and you're thinking of things to do on the Freedom Trail, I would highly recommend doing the USS Constitution.
Definitely, but don't
else.
come during the government shutdown. I hope maybe by the time this airs, that'll end.
Sure.
But I brought a bunch of friends here a while ago, and we just had to stand there and look at it and be like, wow, look, that's so cool.
Yeah. And you didn't even take the ferry to get here. Such a
I was
bummer.
supposed to do that too.
Yeah, you'll see it maybe pass as we're filming. It's pretty cool.
But there's also a lot of comments that we got.
Yeah, let's go.
So we're gonna walk through some of this. So we got one that was a first date story from Connie. Thank you so much, Connie,
Thanks,
for sending that in.
Connie's a great name. It reminds me of Adventures in Odyssey. Did you ever listen to those
did.
growing up?
Oh my gosh.
Connie and Mr. Wit.
This is
Mr.
Focus on the
Whitaker.
Family.
Yeah, Focus on the Family.
My mom and I would put
Connie,
this on, and I
yep.
remember I'd listen. And this is actually all of my morality comes from those.
Probably me
Like
too.
my
I'd
sense of
listen
moral.
through high school, dude. Like I'd go on high school road trips with friends, and as like a bit, I would make them listen to Adventures in Odyssey CDs.
Do you think this will be like Focus on the Family for the next generation? What we're doing here?
I think it sure could be. Yeah. I mean, Connie's kids listen to us.
They do apparently. Her
Here we
kids
go.
listen.
Yeah. So
Connie
anyway.
shared an amazing story of a first date, which
Oh,
you didn't
actually,
think
a
it was real.
horrible story.
You didn't
of a
think it was
first
real.
date. Yeah, I did not.
it is real.
She seems like a chatbot.
Maybe, but so she seems like she's from a kind of an older generation in terms of how dating was done, because she went and got an iced tea at Denny's with her this guy that she'd met at a Christian small group, and she
I'm
got
sorry,
to know.
but doesn't that just sound like a Chinese Christian chatbot? Like they're like, what do we think that conservative Christians do? Oh yeah, Denny's. Small group, iced tea, like dude.
he gets a milkshake.
Yeah,
like it is
can't finish it.
It is a little bit over the top, but also I bet you this is literally what happened.
Yeah.
It's a great story,
Yeah.
and I know it's older because she paid 75 cents for the iced tea.
Yeah,
And I was like,
That's
that's like 1800.
That's
I'm sorry, like no,
480.
I'm not calling her old. I'm just saying that that's a different age.
Yeah.
But no, a wonderful story, because she came in, she sits down with this guy, she gets the iced tea, he gets the milkshake, and then he looks up at her and goes, "By the way, you're paying for that."
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you talking about? You took me out. You're supposed to pay for this. And she said, no. He said, no, he was actually doing the Rodrigo thing. He was making sure that she internalized part of the cost of the first date.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, no, it's the company that you get from me, which we should talk about this topic.
Yeah. And he said,
and he was like, you're not a whore or a prostitute.
I don't want you to prostitute yourself out to me.
Which is disgusting. That is not how it is. That is everything wrong with America is probably embodied in that line, that response.
Well, we should be careful though, because turns out they have been married 26 years. So we don't want to say that everything wrong with Connie's husband is.
It worked out. That's true. Connie ended up overlooking it because he was super attractive.
Her words, not ours.
Yes, that was her words. That was the chat GPT bot words that we received.
Even the name Connie.
And then gave him a second chance, and he forgot to bring cash with him. So he had to run to the ATM on the second date. Eventually,
they had this sweet banter of like, I forgot my wallet. I don't have cash. And she's like, well, I'm not spotting you again. Like, Connie seems kind of fun too. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure they were really great. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. You want a story. You want a story from the first date. And also, guys, pay for the girl. My gosh, I don't care if you have to take a loan out. If you have to go to like a loan shark, one of those like payday loan places, or go get some money, pay for the date, and then go work as a popper for a week and be like, oh, I'm going on a trip. Do what you have to do to make sure the date's good.
Yeah, get a GoFundMe or pawn off your fake fossil watch that Mason has on. You know, pawn that off and get rid of the thing, get some money, and go take out a girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. And then we also got another comment from one of my other friends, Hannah. It was absolutely wonderful. She had a question, a comment that leads into another comment that we received from Kylan, another girl who reached out to us.
Wow.
Both of them were talking about that question of whether or not you should ask permission to date a girl. And they
Yeah.
both had this point, which I tried to give actually 2 weeks ago, I tried to give this like kind of hypothetical conversation where I sat down with a girl and I said, after the first date, hey, I really want to respect you. So I'm going to ask your father if I can date you. And they both were like, that feels like you're trying to lock the girl into a relationship.
Sure.
That you're trying to go outside of her to get somebody else's permission so that you don't actually have to ask her to keep going on dates, which I'm like, that's good strategy. But
yeah,
I don't
lock her in
know.
early.
What?
No, and I mean, I got a similar comment from a girl saying like that's taking away the autonomy of the woman to decide like what she wants. Like, why do you have to? Especially when it comes to dating, like it's up to her. And we got comments that were about that too. Like, the woman has more maybe autonomy. Mason, you know this, but sometimes you come across as thinking that it's almost like women like don't have a mind for themselves.
This is not true. Okay, we're gonna
cut this.
Save the autonomy. No. Save the autonomy discussion for when we talk about young women voting for Democrats.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I wasn't saying that I actually would go ask a girl's for a girl's father's permission to go date her.
Right.
I was giving a hypothetical.
Sure.
That was it. I wasn't defending it.
No, he wasn't defending it, and it's important that you come out and say this.
Yes,
publicly.
I don't want to completely.
He's publicly apologizing for his comments.
Yes, I don't want to completely blackball my dating prospects here. I'm going to get on my hands and knees and say I should never even dare to role play.
Sure.
In this way.
No, we want to role play.
I don't care. I am completely joking. I
totally fair.
This.
Submit your comments to the podcast, not just to me, but another comment I got about the whole like moving on. Like I said a comment like, I think that part of moving on could be dating again. And I think I got some agreement with that statement.
That's true. Moving on from their past relationship could be going and dating again.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a little dangerous, but you could do that.
A little dangerous.
We get a lot of
we're
comments.
all big boys and big girls who can make their own decisions.
Absolutely. And so you heard a bunch of comments and feedback there. If you want to contribute and possibly get a response from us here on the bench in some random part of Massachusetts.
What an honor.
Send an email to approachthebenchquestions@gmail.com or there's a link in our bio. You can submit a voice memo. And as you'll see with one of the segments, you may get it played on the segment.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. You ready to hop into the first?
Yeah.
Before we actually do that, though, we need to do the appetizer question.
What's that one?
So in between each of the segments now, to have a little bit of lighthearted discussion, we're going to have something really random, like a random question that we're going to pose. And we're going to take like 2 minutes and be like, oh, what do we think of this? And the question that we wanted to ask before we jump into the main topic is this week a little salacious. So please don't judge us. And hopefully we aren't thrown into hell for this. Okay. But is kissing a skill issue? And obviously, I told some people this morning, and they were like, absolutely is. That's such a dumb question. Why even talk about it? My point wasn't to say that there's like that obviously if you do it a little bit more, maybe you can train. It's to say, are some people just bad kissers? And are some people just good kissers?
Like in their biology, in their
is it something you're born
makeup?
with? Are you born with being a good kisser?
I think you're born with confidence, or maybe like you know, certain physical attributes that make you more confident. And that could definitely drive like your ability to kiss better. I think if you're like kind of this, you know, oh, I don't know what girls think of me person, then
maybe you'll
struggle. So build up that confidence. Like look at yourself in the mirror every day and tell yourself, I can go out and I can kiss super well, and then you'll do it. You'll manifest it.
I think if you're really into the other person and you like really love them, I think you're going to be better at kissing them because there's going to be more passion behind it.
Passion's a dangerous thing, Mason. You don't want too much passion in your kisses.
Why?
Because then that leads to other things that maybe you don't want to do before you're
now
married.
this is getting really salacious.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've been
you're
thinking
saying that
about
you could
this
be
lately.
so you're saying I should be a purposeful bad kisser so that I don't end up breaking boundaries in relationships.
Sort of. Yes.
This is actually genius.
Light bulb went on.
So this excuses why I've been such a bad kisser and why I've never broken boundaries.
Well, we don't want to lie, Mason. We don't want to lie on the podcast.
I've actually
You're a great kisser, and you've broken boundaries.
That's so bad. Okay,
But
listen,
hey,
we're all
grace-
broken and have fallen short of the
Yes.
glory of God.
where sin abounds,
Sin abounds,
Where
or grace
sin-
abounds.
What is in
It's where
life?
grace abounds.
But where sin something, grace abounds.
Yeah, it's
Where Mason breaks
grace.
boundaries, grace abounds.
yes. So are there good kissers, bad kissers, or just confidence?
There is just confidence, I think.
Just confidence.
Yeah.
I think you're
But
probably.
can I share a story?
Sure.
And we can cut it if we
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to.
go for
But it's a kissing story about a girl who had crazy confidence. Also, just really quick, this is the ferry that's going by that 2 episodes ago I gave Mason a hard time for because he didn't take his friends on it. So
Yeah. Okay.
take a look.
Thank you for pointing out my utter shame.
So I was a theater kid, and apologies if this girl is listening in, but I had a kiss scene at the end of the Importance of Being Earnest,
That's
where
such a good
Ernest and
play.
Gwendolyn
That's
kiss.
that's so good.
Yeah.
Ernest.
Yes. And so I was playing one of the characters, and we had this kiss scene like nightly, like, for many months. Every night would end with a
You
kiss.
would kiss, and you didn't do like the stage kiss. You kissed her.
What's a stage kiss?
Stage kiss. Sometimes you just like kiss each other's cheeks.
No,
and it looks like you
we
kissed
locked lips, and we had to hold it for like a couple seconds while the curtains
her.
closed.
Was that your first kiss?
No, by that point it was not. Luckily, that would have been ruinous. Oh my
I would have
gosh.
refused to do this. I think actually.
Okay, well, on one of the final nights of the performance, this girl, I'm kissing her, right? Like this. And all of a sudden, I feel pressed up against my lips. A little tongue trying to sneak its way in. And I was like, wow. One, respect the game of this girl to try to make out with me on stage in front of everyone. But also, I kept my lips locked super tight. And it was quite awkward, And I mean, we hugged after the performance, and I never talked to her ever again. No, just kidding, but pretty crazy, right?
Maybe this is too salacious for me. Oh my gosh. I've been scandalized by this story.
Yeah,
So
crazy.
as you can see, I have a very traditionally conservative understanding of how to approach romance. I would say even in acting, there's certain boundaries I really think that you should be careful to maintain. Just because you put yourself
please.
in this kind of
We're
situation.
not talking about a sex scene on
let me give you an
stage.
idea.
We're
So
talking
I will
about
give
kissing.
I will give you the exact same situation for me. Okay,
Okay.
exact same situation. I
Okay.
got offered to be. I was in freshman year high school. I was like the star performer of my beginning acting class. So
I
it's
do
not
not
saying
believe
much.
this.
That's not saying much. It's not saying much.
Okay. 10 people in
And
the class.
a lot of people. That's 30 people. But like.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
great, wonderful, and a lot of people wanted me in different performances. And one of the other girls who was really, really good at acting, she's probably the best actress in the class.
Yeah.
Beautiful. There was kind of a thing between us. We were flirting back and forth.
Yeah.
Her closest friend comes up after I was finished with one of the rehearsals. Comes up to me and says, "Here's a script, Mason. Would you be willing to be in this video?" And I was like, "Yeah, it sounds great." She says, "Well, this girl is also going to be in it. She's going to be cast for the main actress role. You'd be
Okay.
the main actor."
Okay.
And I go and I read the script, and I'll never forget at the end of it. It's like it's a romance. It's a romance. Very purposefully, her friend was like, "Let's write a romance where they end up together."
Okay.
And at the end, I was supposed to pick her up, swing her in the air, and then kiss her on the forehead. And I
What?
remember I was sitting there in the
You wouldn't
audience
kiss her?
in the theater, and I felt like my stomach was like turning in on itself fully. And I was like, what have I done? How am I can't do this because I morally am opposed to dating at this age.
Oh.
And also I'm morally opposed to doing this much PDA, even in the first place, with somebody who I'm not dating.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I put myself in a position where I was never going to have to even get close to kissing the girl. That's my stance on it. But I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that everybody's going to look at the story and be like, this is bad. Maybe we...
I can't believe this is happening.
What?
I can't believe that's real. You wouldn't kiss her on the forehead?
I was in 9th grade, never dated before. I had a strong stance. This is a year after I stopped wearing Crocs 24/7.
Oh,
Okay.
dear.
So like you've got to understand, I'm coming from a position of I've never touched a girl before. Okay. Like I've probably had to hold hands with her in church. And now you're asking me to pick her up spinner, which I didn't even know if I had the strength to do. And that had nothing to do with her being, she was a beautiful, skinny, attractive woman. It was that I was a weakling, barely like pubescent guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And it just made me worried.
Okay. Well,
What?
I appreciate your like thoughtfulness through everything, you know, in all seasons of your life.
There's so much
really
judgment
touching.
seeping from your eyes right now.
I would have taken every opportunity to take that role, and I would have probably rewritten the script to say like end with a kiss on the lips.
Oh,
You know?
that's so
Beautiful.
Disney
If
Channel.
especially
That's
she
so
was
Disney
attractive.
Channel. Yeah, she was beautiful.
Okay,
She was one of the
well,
most gorgeous women I'd ever.
What a
ever-
chance that you blew.
No, because
you could be married to this girl right now.
She wasn't Christian.
You could have converted this girl
No,
and
she
married
wasn't-
her.
She wasn't Christian. I was also had a strong stance against dating in high school. So I wasn't gonna just throw myself out there like some sort of harlot. What? What?
Let's just move on.
Okay,
This is
fine.
too much for me.
Okay,
I need a moment.
We can take a moment and.
We're back.
Okay, we're back. Also, just to clarify about that last segment before I get a bunch of people emailing in, I'm in large part joking with some of my over-the-topness. I am obviously not like this today, but I'm still impacted by my past. So I still am a little nerdy about dating and a little bit more
Right.
conservative.
Yeah.
Okay, so
He's got time, ladies. Give him some time to mature.
yeah, I need more time,
incubate.
Evan.
Yeah.
Just a little more
definitely.
time.
Yeah. Just a little more. But the potential is there.
Amen.
Whereas for me, the potential is gone. Like my potential has died 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, he's way past his prime.
Yeah.
He's like 35. So I mean,
and
my
almost
goodness.
300 pounds.
Yeah, a lot. Really.
I had a
overweight.
dream
What was your dream?
that I was weighing myself and I was under 200 pounds and I was like, wow, I really haven't been like working out, and it was quite a nightmare.
So your fear was being under 200 pounds.
Yeah, because
See,
it meant that I've lost muscle.
You notice the different lives some of us live.
Mm.
Because some people, that's like their only dream. They wake up in the morning, they're like, I wish I could be lighter. And you're saying, I wish I
well,
could
less
be heavier.
Chick-fil-A at lunchtime, boys.
That's probably true for most of us.
For most of our content demographic. Yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
let's
before
move
we
on.
keep
Yeah.
lambasting random people, next segment, we're going to be talking a little bit about voting demographics. And by voting demographics, I mean, so the Mamdani election just passed through. For those of you who don't know, Zoran Mamdani just won the New York mayorship. He is a full-blown socialist, might as well be a communist. I'm not a big fan. I think he's going to not only fail, but also set up New York for worst cost of living, for higher crime rates, for everything bad overall. 81% of women under the age of 30 voted for him. And this is in an election where it's Democrat versus Sliwa as Republican. He barely got any votes.
Yeah.
So basically what you're seeing is that even among the left,
Right.
like almost all the young women are going for the socialist. Now, that might be because Andrew Cuomo was running against him.
I was just going to say that.
And
yeah.
Cuomo is a sleazebag and a half. And I
Yeah.
completely understand not wanting to vote for him. But the problem is the actual consequences of voting for Zoran will be horrible
Right.
crime rates that will put women in the worst position of them all, honestly.
Yeah.
Because going out at night on the streets, the young women that I know are the ones who are most terrified about it for good reason. And these sorts of socialist policies, yeah.
Right. No, just, and also I've heard the criticism like, well, New York City's like a blue district or a blue, area anyway. Like this isn't like reflective of broader trends. Well, unfortunately, it is reflective of broader trends especially among like Gen Z or
Yes.
younger women and younger men.
Young women went for Harris plus 17, so it's 58-41. Young men went the exact opposite way for Trump, plus 14, 56-42. And that's a massive gap.
Mhm.
But there's also some other gaps that I want to pinpoint here. It's not just in terms of voting demographics where you're starting to see this split. It's also in terms of education. And I think this is a huge indicator of it, because the more educated you get, the more you tend to vote Democrat. And Democrats will hear that and they go, yeah, that's because smart people vote for us. And I hear that and I go, no, it's because the education system is literally filled with people who, one, like think they can solve all the problems in the world. So they're like, oh, because I'm able to do this math problem, that means I'm able to sit down and tell you how to run your business. Okay, great, wonderful.
Sure.
But it's also because our education systems are completely captured by a lot of these ideas.
Yes.
All the professors, we see this at Harvard.
Yes.
And so
Like how many
2/3
registered Republicans are there at Harvard? It's like,
faculty out of
Yeah.
2,000, I believe it's like 30.
yeah, I was going to say 30. Yeah.
So just
It's
put
a
that in.
huge divide, and I get very frustrated when I present this idea to people and they resist it. Like it's such an obvious trend that most faculty at higher ed institutions are extremely liberal and there are very few conservatives represented. It's just a fact. Like you just have to accept it and move on.
Yeah, totally. But so 2/3 of these master's degree programs, it's women. Women are getting 2/3 of master's degrees these days. They lead in doctoral degrees. In the undergrad world, 57% are women who are pursuing bachelor's degrees, and 42% are men. So that's a 15-point split, and it's only getting bigger. Millions more students are female than male. So it's getting worse, and it's going further and further and further. And now some respond to this, and I'm like, I think it's great and wonderful that women are seeking out these opportunities, that they're like improving their education. As I've always said, I think there is honestly nothing more attractive than a very intelligent woman. At the same time, there's the other side of this of saying they're also the most successful within what I think is this captured system. And they're the ones who are most willing to throw themselves into the arms of socialism, into the like mother-father government to try to fix these issues. And also maybe it's just the culture on the right is really, it feels really icky to most of them that I talk to. They're like, you just seem like bad people and they don't want to vote for us.
Right. And maybe we are bad people, you know?
What do you think is happening?
No, I mean, that for sure. I was also going to point out that I think a trend in the younger generation is social media. And this isn't necessarily like a profound statement, but algorithms drive social media, and social media increasingly among our generation is where people are getting their news from. And so if men and women are getting these like very divergent algorithms, which is a big problem, and I don't really have the answer to that except get off social media more and go talk to normal people. You know, women are having this algorithm that's very like probably very mental health oriented, very compassion oriented, very like anti-Trump oriented, and men are getting kind of like this red pill algorithm, like the system's against you. Back in the day, like they're getting the Tates, the Andrew Tates. Is it Andrew Tate? Yeah. Yep. Andrew Tates of the world who are like reactionary against toxic masculinity, and it's just diverging so much. And like that is probably what explains the Kamala and Trump split, at least in my head, that, you know, the algorithms that people are getting are just so different.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, I think there's two things. I think the culture on the left is a virtue signaling, and the culture on the right is like sometimes a vice signaling. And I think for a lot of women, that's very off-putting because the vice is often targeted at them. So obviously you're not going to want to vote for people who are coming out and saying like, oh, even when we're talking about this discussion, you hear us say like, oh, why are all young women doing this? And as I was discussing with some young women before we were going to do this segment, they were like, don't be so antagonistic or it's going to push us away from it. Because we hear this all the time from young guys who are come out and they get on here, the Fuentez's of the world, and they say, it's the women, right? And it's hilarious. All the guys laughing and are like, it's so true. But I also see this on the girl side of the podcast world where they're like, it's just the men, right? Yeah. And I'm like, the reality is it's both of us. We all have a communal spiritual problem. The men are all addicted to porn and the women are all addicted to being everything that they possibly can be in the world. Meaning like you're going to be a mother, you're going to be the most successful person in the planet. You're going to be able to like be loved by your friends and maintain close relationships with them. You're going to be the most attractive person. You're going to have, all of us have this idea in our heads of what we're going to get, and we're all seeking it out, and it's dividing us. Because it's impossible. Because a man can't objectify women through pornography, through Andrew Tate, through all this other stuff, and then end up in a loving relationship with her. And a woman cannot only follow this ambition like track purely alone and end up being able to spend time with her kids rather than putting them with a nanny or having to marry a man who's 100% supportive of her vision and willing to forgo his. And like you're asking for something that's going to require a lot from the other party in both situations. I think the pornography example I'm giving is a little bit more pernicious because I'm like, obviously that's evil and wrong. I don't think it's fully evil and wrong to go and like pursue an ambition. What I'm saying though is that both of those are prioritizing the wrong thing, which is actually being good fathers and being good mothers. And that means self-sacrifice for the other people. That would mean me giving up part of my dreams for the woman I'm in love with and her giving up part of her dreams too.
Yeah. I mean, we can't solve this problem if we are looking at the other sex and saying it's your fault or it's my fault, you know, like that's not going to solve the problem at all. I mean, I will say that one of the angles I wanted to bring up on this podcast, which isn't answered immediately by your question, is why within the church do we also see this same trend? You know, why is it that it seems like even Christian women lean more to the left than the Christian guys do?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I say something really politically incorrect?
I think it is. Okay. Yeah.
Just as in response to your question.
Sure.
I might get in trouble for this, but I'm going to say this because I think that it's probably the answer. And it's that I think men really want to feel useful. Okay, like really want to feel useful. And I think Democrats
Oh
look
yeah.
at them and say, "You're the problem. We don't want to use you. We don't want to put you in positions of power. We don't want to forward you." Liberals don't say that. They turn to women and they say that. They say they
They
applaud
do.
them. They
Yeah.
say it's great and wonderful to see you in positions of power.
Yeah.
There have been too many men, too many other things. And so for young men who already feel like they're disenfranchised in
Yeah.
society, who already
Yeah.
feel like
Which we should probably talk about more in depth
we
on another
should, who
episode.
already feel like there's not many opportunities for
Yeah.
us, feels like we've been left behind, like who are you going to listen to then? Who are you going to want to support? Are you going to want to become more conservative or more liberal? Are you going to want to work with the people on the conservative side who are saying, you know, you have a God-given responsibility to lead your family, to be the head of your household, and to shoulder with that responsibility a lot of the struggle of defending your family, of providing for your family. It is a task, but it's a task that you were born and made for. And that's an awesome thing to be able to give somebody a purpose. It gives men purpose. And the left isn't really trusting that purpose. They're saying, hey, listen, the reality is you need to step aside for a moment and let the other side have their way.
I mean, yes, that's all true. I will just say that there has been a lot of like oppression of women in our society that I think like there's a reaction against that. And it's like an understandable reaction in my head that like women for a long time were told like the only thing that you can really add to the world is like child rearing. And they were cut out of corporate settings. And like I'm not saying that the reaction against that you're describing is like completely justified, but I do think that presents a unique challenge of how can you on one hand say like I want to like lead my family and I want to uphold these traditional values while also recognizing that like women can contribute in a very meaningful way to society and should be given that opportunity.
It's a difficult balancing act. And this is why I keep saying I don't think there's anything wrong with pursuing ambitions as a woman or as a man. But what I'm trying to emphasize is that while there has been that history of oppression, what this inverse reaction is now doing is saying, actually, the child rearing that you've been forced to only do is actually not really that worth it.
Sure.
It's actually constraining. It's actually bad. And I'm going to just pause and say, motherhood is the most beautiful thing on the planet. Okay, I think that raising children and being able to imbue them with a mother's love, with that sense of identity that comes from them, because it's not just a physical creation on the part of the mother, that she literally births the child, but it's also an emotional and in many ways spiritual creation.
Yeah.
And that is something that was completely forgotten in our society and the importance of that role. And it's the same with the father.
Yeah.
The father plays an important role in that shaping as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I want more of a focus on that. I think conservatives are doing a better job of saying that that's important.
Yeah.
Liberals are doing a better job of recognizing the reality of our world, where it's like, in order to make it in this cost of living, that's why Zoran wins in some ways, is you've got to have two incomes. You've got to have both people working. You can't have kids.
Yeah.
And so because of that, women are pursuing careers, and it's hard for them to also balance having children at the same time, or pursuing motherhood, or maybe there's fertility issues. Maybe you don't find the guy of your dreams. And it's like, well, if you're telling me the only thing I'm supposed to ever do is have children, then what's my point?
Yeah.
And that's not what we're saying at all. What we're saying is that these values, these traditional values, what I would say, are important to still seek out after in this modern world. That we should still view motherhood as a good thing, fatherhood as a good thing. We should still try to have children. We may have to do it in a little different way, but we should still try.
Sure. The last thing I'll say is I think that the trend of like women who like kind of lean left even in the church and men who lean more right, that's like actually a healthy balance, I think, and something that you can work with and embrace. I don't think you have to say like you need to align with me on every single issue. I want balance in the church. And I think that women have a perspective that maybe, to not to fall into stereotypes too much, but that is more compassion oriented, maybe more like identifies with verses around widows and orphans and things that God's heart is part of that as well. And I think men maybe aspire more to like keep the truth, defend the truth, and like be more like protectors of tradition and orthodoxy.
They are literally creators. We're protectors.
I want that. You want that balance in the church body. I think you don't want the church to fully embrace one political party or the other. And so I'm not here stating and saying like women have to completely flip, but I do think there are, problems with the trend of like moving further and further left and rejecting a lot of like fundamental truth and beautiful things.
All right, next topic.
Hoods on.
Next topic, we're going to talk a little bit about pronouns. So we actually got a voice memo. We might include a little bit of it. And just
now.
Hey, my name is Lauren. I am from Richmond, Virginia. I'm 21 years old, and I have been a Christian all my life and have not been around many people from the LGBTQ community. And I think I'm at the point where I do not want to get fired from a job for misgendering someone, for doing all of these things. How do you as a Christian navigate pronouns, people's preferences and everything? Thank you guys so much for what you do.
And this might seem like an old issue to you. I don't
Oh.
I don't necessarily think it is. I think it's almost become like people have already decided what they're going to do. And so I'm right now speaking to the people who still have pronouns on your LinkedIn or still have pronouns in your email. I think that is a mistake, and you do not need to do that as a Christian. So let's
Yes.
talk about it.
And I think the reason we're saying this is because as Christians, with a just like basic Bible lesson, we believe that there are two sexes, man and woman, created by God, Adam and Eve at the very, very beginning. And this whole idea of like, hey, I'm a man born into the wrong body, or a woman born into the wrong body. It goes against the creation order in the sense of God has imbued you with a certain form of body. Sorry, just suddenly have this helicopter.
Yeah, we're getting
Fly
caught.
over.
We're getting
Yeah, they're
caught.
coming for us. They knew what we were saying about pronouns. But God has put you in this place, in this form for a reason. And to say that like, oh, all of a sudden I feel anxious and like I'm not identifying with this anymore is actually not a proper diagnosis of the anxiety you're feeling. What we would argue you're feeling is actually the byproduct of the brokenness of our world. That we all have desires that are disordered.
Sure.
And so it's not that you are born into the wrong body. It's actually that your body already is broken. And therefore you have some desires such as to rebel against your female
the right order,
body,
yeah.
your male body, in such a way that is actually against the natural order, that's against God.
And also maybe just to clarify, I don't know, but that sort of struggle we don't experience. And if you do, or if you know someone who does, I would never say like that is a form of disorder that is other than mine or worse than mine. Like there's no,
we all have struggles.
for sure. Like we all are living in this broken reality where our our fleshly desires are not aligned with what God wants for us.
And you've got to contour this correctly, meaning like,
Thank you.
I have natural, this is fantastic. We have certain natural desires. Like I have a natural desire to be with as many women as possible. And all of us would say as Christians, that's wrong. Why? Because we think the actual like purpose that God has for us is for us to get married to one person and to have children with that one person, right?
Yeah.
And my desire isn't aligned with that. And so we say it's actually broken and disordered. And we have to go to the Christianity. We have to go to the Bible. We have to test our feelings
eternal
against
truths.
Scripture. And it's the exact same thing here.
Yeah.
Scripture says male and woman. He created them.
Sure.
And so because of that, we test these transgender dysphoria against it. And we say it's wanting of Scripture. It's disordered. And so therefore we encourage you to actually seek out truth and biblical truth in that. So what do you think this girl should do?
Yeah, so here's my kind of personal take on using pronouns. And this isn't like an authoritative stance, but what I like to do is something that I've heard other people, promulgate is I will not put pronouns on my bio. I will not, be forced to use someone's pronouns or to use it in a professional setting. That is like not something that I'm comfortable with.
So you just use their name.
Because it goes against, you could just use their name. Sure, you could ask them their name. However, I will say, and this is maybe where other Christians would not have this opinion, is like, if I am seeking to build a relationship with you, or if I have a pre-existing relationship with you and we're in a private context where it is not like some sort of compelled speech, because I think that's another principle at play here that as conservatives we would have issue with, I would use their preferred pronouns. Like if I'm at dinner with a friend who is, transgender or experiencing this kind of like identity conflict within themselves and they want me to use it, I would use it there, because I don't want to destroy a relationship just because of one issue. Like in the gay wedding hypo, or in this hypo that I'm proposing, where you have a close friend who wants you to use their preferred pronouns that you don't think are reality reflecting. There's another party in that dialogue. And I think me as a Christian, I get very hyper fixated on myself, and I think, how can I best love them? In reality, they should also be considerate of that. If they want to maintain a relationship with you, if they want, if they respect that you disagree with them and love you regardless, like there should be some understanding there too. And so I think in an ideal situation, you wouldn't have to use their pronouns and they would still love you. Or you would say, I can't go to your wedding, I'm sorry, and they would still love you.
Yes.
That is not always the reality, though. And so I think I'm willing to kind of put some of this aside and say, like, I love you, I disagree with this, but I'm still going to like show up for you in this way because I value our relationship. And in the back of my head, I'm saying, and it's because I know that if I don't, you'll cut me out.
Yeah. And see, I think my response, I don't think I'd go that far. I don't think I would. I think I'd be willing to let them cut me out. If I'm able, if I sit down and I lovingly explain to this person where I'm coming from and they know that I love and care about them and they're not able to build that relationship still, it means that even if I tried to love them through some of these other things, there's just wool in the ears. And they will know that I didn't cut them off. I was always there. I'm still standing there, just like the father waiting for the prodigal son to return home. I'm waiting for them to still have that experience.
I will just, but in that parable, the father does run out to him. I think but
that's when he returns home.
It is.
He doesn't go seek him in the foreign land.
Home. I know it is.
He doesn't seek him in the foreign land. He doesn't leave the homestead.
Okay, fair.
But that's where I'm saying, I think that like there's only so much you can do. We can pray and we can love on them. I don't think we should completely abrogate truth in the process. But there's a deeper thing and a deeper question here where I start wondering, really what we're saying above all else is we want to love them so that we can lead them to Christ. And we think that leading them to Christ will help actually address a lot of these issues.
And Jesus, more important issues than these, right? I mean, like, we don't want you to become a Christian and follow Christ because we want you to fix your identity disorder. Like, that is not what we're saying at all.
Yeah, there's not the
way more important things in following Jesus than this.
The point is we want you to be a Christian because it's true, because it's the only way to salvation, to grace for your sins, to forgiveness. And he's forgiven me, he's loved me, and we want you to know his love as well.
Yeah.
And here's my thing. Jesus with the Samaritan woman, when she approaches him at the well, this is a very famous parable, and she walks up and she says, hey, like he speaks to her, and she's like confused that this Jew is speaking to a Samaritan
woman. Jewish man speaking to a Samaritan
They didn't have a good relationship.
Yeah.
And the Jews would often avoid them.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, can you get me some water? And she's like, why are you speaking to me? And he's like, well, I want some water. And they start having a little bit of a debate. And she says, well, why do you guys don't normally talk to us because we go and worship on this one mountain and you think we should only worship at the temple. She brings up the hot topic debate of the day of I'm transgender and you guys think that this is wrong, right? Some sort of intense disagreement. You know what Jesus says? Jesus says all these things are going to be sorted out in the end, but I know that you're going home and you're living with a man who's not your husband. And I know that you're broken. And I know that you desperately need God, that there are other things. He goes to the root of the issue. He goes directly to the soul and says, you're broken. And you need to know
living water.
You need eternal life. Exactly. Right. He says, I can offer you living water. You're drawing.
So you will never have to drink
water
again.
That you will be thirsty again afterwards, but I am a form of water that you will never be thirsty once you have drank from my well.
And that is the root of all these conversations that we would want to have.
And that's a beautiful sidestep of saying, he also says, like, it's kind of saying you will actually address all of these other hot topic questions by coming to Christ.
By coming to Christ.
Our best bet with these people, with people we disagree with, who are having these different temptations,
our best bet with everyone
is through Jesus.
Yes, for sure. Okay, really, the last thing I wanted to say on this transgender issue is something that I've heard when I've pushed Christians on having their pronouns in their LinkedIn bio or on their email handle. I've gotten this response, okay? Clarity is care. And so with me being clear with my pronouns, I'm caring for other people. And I'm like, what? I first of all hadn't really heard that before. Couldn't tell if that was like a joke or if that was serious, but that's not true. Like, clarity is not care. Like, being truthful, being loving, that's care. Being truthful in your love is care.
Because the problem is it's signaling. That's really what you're saying here. This is the root issue with a lot of this stuff. And it's the reason why woke culture broke, is because it acted like a lot of the things it was doing weren't actually substantive. It was just like, oh, you say Black Lives Matter because you care about Black people. When actually what you're trying to say is this is how you enact this policy change, right? You actually need to vote for Democrats. That's what that means. Yeah. It means this thing. No, it's not actually the substance of the thing that you're talking about. It's you're trying to signal to other people that you're on a certain policy team. Yeah. And the she, her, the he, him is signaling to people saying transgenderism is real and I recognize you.
I think
that's what it's doing.
Yes, I don't think you can use those pronouns on your bio without like fully embracing transgenderism. At least that is the perception that you're giving off, whether you mean to or not.
Yes.
Like, you can't avoid that, guys.
So I would discourage doing that, generally speaking.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on.
We need to hop in because it is starting to rain.
I'm feeling raindrops.
So
raindrops keep falling on my head, and we're gonna talk about
girl problems. Girl problems. All right, welcome to the girl problem segment. It might start raining midway through, and we'll have to kill it, but we're gonna try to get through these. We've got, I think,
it is so cold out here, guys.
5 questions. We all submitted from the audience these questions, and so we're gonna work through them step by step.
Should we do an angle change or no?
No, we don't have time for an angle change.
Boston's
gonna
right
get this
there. It's
view.
beautiful.
Okay, so we're jumping in. First one. This is from Elliot. Elliot asked, "I'd be interested to hear who your celebrity and/or fictional crushes are, and if they have changed over time."
Mine was Taylor Swift when I was growing up, and my gosh, that has changed, everyone. Just kidding. Well, she definitely isn't my
She's gonna
crush
be
anymore.
married
I
now.
know.
She's actually engaged. She's still on the market for us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, she's a little old for me too, I think.
Yeah.
Even though she projects herself
Why
as
has
about
it changed?
25.
Can you explain?
Oh, I just fell out of love with her. My true celebrity crush growing up was Selena Gomez. I always had an eye for the Latinas out there. I liked her in Wizards of Waverly Place. And also, I don't think that's changed because,
such a great show.
But let me say one that's changed, one that's not. Selena Gomez has not changed because I think she's a Christian. At least that's how she projects herself. She's obviously a little liberal, but I think I see in her like family values. She comes from Latino culture. She seems like a pretty nice girl. She seems pretty normal. She went through a bad breakup with Bieber and has grown from that, and I like that. You know, she seems like a solid girl. The one that has definitely changed for me, Emma Watson.
Oh,
If you're watching this,
Emma Watson.
I absolutely loved you growing up, Emma.
You were amazing growing up, Emma. We loved you.
However,
I loved her too.
man, when you went to Brown, something happened. And I saw who you became, and I couldn't get on board with that.
Wow, you didn't like that she became a sologamist?
What is that?
She married herself.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a big word.
You didn't like
That's a
that?
big word. I just, dude, she just went off the deep end, man. She became like a Greta Thunberg, and
Yeah. It's very sad.
I can't do that. I can date someone who has more liberal views than me, but I couldn't do it, Emma. I couldn't do it.
No, this is great. I'm really happy you're talking through kind of our development with the celebrity crushes because Selena Gomez I never had a crush on. I looked up to her like an older sister because I would watch Wizards of Waverly Place with my older sister.
Oh.
And I would always see her. She was always so cool and spunk, and that's how I saw my
she was
sister.
so cool. Yeah.
And so I really liked Alex and I respected Selena because of it.
Yeah. So you also liked her a little bit?
No, it wasn't really
okay,
liking.
okay.
I loved Emma Watson. Emma Watson was my first celebrity crush.
Okay.
And I mean,
that's funny that we kind of have the same one.
I mean, it's very common. This
Every
is very
guy?
common. Yeah, it's
Really?
very common for
Because you watched her grow up.
Yeah, because like you were at that perfect age where you're starting to suddenly be attracted to girls, and she's just so
I could have been
beautiful.
way better than
And she's
Ron.
she's so intelligent and capable as
Yeah.
Hermione. You're just like, oh my gosh, this is like the perfect example of the woman I'm looking for.
And she's so sweet and kind of cute.
Yes.
And,
all of these things. And she cares about people so well. She's so
cares about
capable.
them,
I really thought she was amazing.
So really, you fell in love with Hermione, not Emma.
I didn't fall in love with Emma. I fell in love with Hermione.
Yeah.
And I also fell in love with Annabeth Chase in the Percy Jackson series, who's not actually embodied in a actress form because I don't think that the Percy Jackson movie exists. We don't act like it exists because it was so bad.
I never watched.
They didn't even give Annabeth Chase gray eyes in that. This is the Percy Jackson series. They're all demigods, and she's the daughter of Athena. She's supposed to have gray eyes. And she doesn't even have it in the movie, which to me is just poor craftsmanship. I mean, what the heck are you doing?
Man, those harlots.
Something like that. But my thing is, I fell for her and for Hermione for the same reason. They're both very smart, beautiful women who are like effective and supportive of the main protagonist guy.
Interesting.
That's why Annabeth should end up with Percy, and also Hermione should have ended up with Harry.
Definitely, I agree with that, man. Ron is such a compromise, Hermione.
Yeah. Who was your guys' celebrity crush? Let us know.
Let us know.
All right, next one.
Yeah, let's go.
So next question came in about love languages, asking, what are your love languages, and would you marry a girl that didn't speak your language?
I think we can all grow to speak each other's languages, and personally, I don't know what my love languages are definitively. I always struggle with this. It feels like it changes every month for me. Like it just depends on what I'm like going through personally and what I feel like I need support in.
I think you're a quality time guy.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You look at me all the time and go, we need to do more time together.
Well,
you go, I feel like we don't really spend time outside the podcast anymore together.
Well, that's because I care about you and I don't want you to just become a commodity to me.
Yes,
like,
it's a love language.
Where it's just transactional relationship. But maybe quality time with guys is actually a big thing for me. But I feel like with women, physical touch is way higher. Like I don't really care about physically touching you, personally.
This just sounds like a romantic attraction thing. There's a difference between those.
Well, no, I do. I like it when a girl that I've been with will initiate physical touch with me. Like she'll just put her hand on my shoulder or grab my hand on her own, or just like check in with me by like putting her hand on my knee.
Yeah, 'cause
I relate
That's beautiful,
to that.
but maybe you're attracted to her too, so then maybe that helps.
Well, but these are like long-term relationships.
Well,
that
we
I'm
should also
talking
mention
about.
what the love languages are. I'm sorry for the people who don't know what love languages are. The love languages are words of
I
affirmation.
feel incredibly disvalidated. Like, why
What?
can't I just share my? Don't touch me. Not physical touch for men, Mason. I just feel like I've shared 2 love languages with Mason, and he's like, no, that's not your love language. What is going on here?
No.
This mansplaining.
I'm sorry. I'm saying that I know you pretty well, and I'm trying to help you
Oh
build
my
out.
gosh.
I'm sorry. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
being bad. Forgive me if I'm being bad.
Go ahead.
But the love languages are quality time. So you love spending time with people. It's physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, or acts of service. Okay. There's 5 of them. Normally you have like 2 that you give, receive.
Yep.
And I don't know, man. Of those, I think quality time is a good one for you. I think you do have a little bit of physical touch. I mean,
I like acts of
there are people
service,
out
too.
there who count how many times we put our hands on the other person's thigh. I've been told this.
Have I done that a lot?
Apparently, it's a frequent occurrence.
Wow.
So maybe it is. Stop. You're adding to the number. This is going to be like a polymarket thing where they're like,
9.
bet on how many times Will and Mason touch each other's thighs. That's so weird.
That would be horrible.
That's so weird.
What's the least bad thing that could come out of this problem?
My love languages, though, I know them for sure. And you can
Yeah,
contest
I
them.
will. Here we go.
Words of affirmation.
That's
I
true.
really, really value being told I'm great or telling other people that I'm great, that they're great.
I think you shared this in the pilots, kind of like feeling a need to be affirmed in your
I feel that a lot.
efforts.
That's why it's hard to be on social media, is because you get negative feedback sometimes from people, and it hurts.
Or from your co-podcaster.
For your co-podcaster, true. The other one is physical touch. And that's not even just like this is true with my guy friends. Like
Really?
totally. I walk up. You know this? I walk up to you all the time.
All right, so you're giving it, or you like to receive
I love
it?
to touch. I love to give. I love to give. I'm not
Okay.
really as much of a receiver. Some of my guy friends really don't like being touched. Like I was with one of my friends at the lawyers conference we were just at this weekend.
Yeah,
And I walked up to him and I was talking to somebody. I kept putting my arm around him and he kept going like, trying to like squirm away from me.
Yeah. Well, he's not comfortable in his sexuality. That's what's going on there.
Okay. Or maybe he just doesn't like me leaning on him the entire time.
Maybe. Is he shorter than you?
No, he's the same height.
Oh, okay, because that could be a thing too. I think like shorter guys don't want to be touched by taller men because it's like a little bit putting them down.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, buddy, little man.
So it doesn't matter
So-
if the other person has the same love language, though.
No, certainly not.
Okay.
You just need to be able to give what the other person receives. And I think the reason I don't like love languages is the same reason I don't like the Enneagram, which is a personality test. It's like I don't like being put in a box and feeling like this is
That's
what.
because he's a 4 on the Enneagram, by the way.
No, I'm not. I think I'm a 3. I've been told I'm a 3.
I'm just joking.
I've never taken it, so whatever. But I just think I don't like being put in a box. I want to be able to like change as I grow and change with the season and be like, I'm feeling like this would really help me right now. And so I'd really appreciate it if you did this or whatever. But I do think one that means like maybe you disagree with this, but in a relationship, I think like acts of service is pretty high for me because typically I am the planner, I'm the executor. I put a lot of effort into stuff. I'm the one who like notices that the house is clean and I'm cleaning it. I'm the one who plans a trip, does all the details. And when a girl or even a friend does that to me, I feel like, oh, that like I notice that a lot and I appreciate it because
I think for me, I kind of like it when a girl affirms me with words, when she touches me frequently, when she does acts of service for me, when she gets me gifts, and also when she spends a lot of time with me.
Yeah,
And she spends quality time. So really what I want is for you to have a love language of all of them.
that's fine. I don't really care. I don't really care about the time.
Yeah.
I'm an independent guy, and I want my wife and I to be able to spend a lot of time apart.
Yeah, you get sick of each other. You know what I mean?
For
It's kind of
sure.
like, I'm going to go on a 6-month deployment, honey. See ya.
Yeah. I always used to joke that I wish I was still in the Army because I wish I could go on the 9-month deployment when after my kid is born and just come back. Like, it's kind of like that, like button click movie, whatever, where you could like fast
Yeah, you
forward
fast
and
forward.
rewind. I'm like, skip all that like crazy, like baby stuff and just like come back when they're a little older.
Man.
Horrible thing to
All
say.
right, we jumped through a lot. We're going to keep moving. We've got more to chug through. So one of my friends, Azriel, asked,
What's his name?
Azriel, it's a cool name.
Wow.
He asked the question, that's a classic Christian culture question. For your girls who are friends, should you only ever side hug them or can you front hug?
Front hug.
Front hug is supposed to be romantic. There's a famous running joke in Christian subculture after the Christian side hug rap video went viral around 2009 that showed that you only side hugged with girls who are your friends with.
Yeah.
And you're saying you're going to front hug a bunch of... Do you think your girlfriend would be okay with you front hugging a bunch
She
of girls?
better
who are
be,
friends?
or she's going to get dumped, dude. I'm telling you, man. I don't know. Just stop. It's so weird. Front hug, hold their hand, kiss them on the lips. Like, if you have a friend, just do it. Just send it, you know? No, I'm just kidding. Don't kiss them.
That's crazy.
Front hugs are not that big of a deal. And I like them. I really liked, when I was in high school, I was like front hugging all these public school girls, like as I was just kind of starting in public high school. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Oh my gosh.
It was like,
so
I had such a great night. Hug.
That's so weird. I prefer the front. I prefer the side hug. I think the side hug is a better move. And it's not to say you can't front hug. There are times, but front hugs are only for very emotional goodbyes with close girlfriends in like specific moments.
Why do you would
Side
front
hugs
hug a
otherwise are
guy
like,
though,
hey,
right?
goodbye.
You'd front hug a guy?
You dap up a guy and say
No,
goodbye.
I
Or
like
close guy
hugging.
friends, you hug them. But like I think side hugs are more appropriate with most girls because you don't dap up girls. The side hug is the form of dapping up young women. You use the side hug to dap up your young girlfriends. That's how it works. The side hug is a dap.
I want to
You
hug
dap with your
everyone.
gun.
I want to hug everyone.
Yeah, you side hug them.
Because I'm a big physical touch guy.
Yeah, like we were just talking about.
Apparently I'm quality time, but no, I want to hug.
You can want to hug all you want. What do you guys think of this? Because this is a tough one. I think you should side hug girls that you're not very close to, and you should only front hug when it's really, really important.
I think you should shake hands with people you're not really close to, but if you call them your friend, then you hug everyone. You know, I don't want to be sexist. Just hug everyone.
Most of the girls I know don't want to shake my hand. They want to give me a side hug.
Why not a front hug?
Because that's not what they do. They reach out their hand like this around the side, and they're beckoning you not to give a full frontal hug.
If a girl initiates and she's like, "Oh, bye," then don't like force her into a front hug.
Yes.
But if you initiate the contact, go in for the front hug.
I'm saying we should initiate side hugs.
No, I think we should initiate front hugs.
Okay, what does the audience think? We want to know.
Okay. Last one.
Well,
maybe?
we have two. We have two last ones.
I'm
We might
getting
have to
so
cut one of them.
cold.
Okay. So from Josh, how do you both feel about being set up on a date or setting others up? He's married, and he was asking a question that's kind of a follow-up to what we talked about with married couples. He was like, should I be trying to set my single friends up with the other single
This
people?
is easy. Yes.
Totally.
I mean, period, full stop.
Period, full
Set
stop.
them up. I mean, I had a girl come up to me this week wanting to be set up.
Set them up.
Set them up.
Literally, this is like, and he was his thing was he's worried it's not natural, and I was like, literally, this is the definition of a natural set. This is as natural as it's gonna get,
Yeah,
bro.
other than your parents,
Like,
which we talked about.
Other than you run into a girl at church out of your own volition, or you happen to you hit her with your car, and you have to get out of the car, and you have to help her up, and you're like, oh, you're so beautiful.
Or she drops her books in the hallway,
Yeah,
and
the
you're like,
classic.
oh, let me help you. Yeah, that's natural.
That's super natural.
But what you don't want to do, what's his name? Elliot?
Josh. This is
Josh. Okay. What you don't want to do, Josh, is force people onto dating apps because you're not doing your job.
Amen. You're causing your single friends to stay single by not trying to help them. Bill, fifth and the last question. This is probably this one we might end up having as the first question in Girl Problems because it's such an interesting one. Okay.
Okay.
One of the girls I know who walked up to me here at Harvard Law School, and she said at a party, she said, I really feel like, yeah,
Oh,
I'm a hard party.
Wow.
She walked up to me and she said, Mason, I feel like I've blackballed my dating life as a Christian conservative coming to law school. Because like other Christian conservative guys aren't looking for a woman with her level of ambition.
Sure.
And like she's more intelligent. She's got all these goals and things like this. And social conservatives are like, well, I'd rather just like marry a woman who maybe she's in college still, just finished her college degree, but doesn't really have plans. It's easier to just marry her.
Yeah.
And then you can go fulfill your dreams and then just marry this other social conservative girl who her whole goal is just to be a married woman. And so do you think that's true?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think that there are guys who you can find, but it's going to be harder for you to like chase your career and find a man who you match with.
It's going to be more difficult.
Yeah,
that's true.
And it's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm not saying you made the wrong decision. I'm just saying you made a decision and there are consequences.
And it's going to have consequences. I mean, there are consequences to us. I mean, for me, I feel like there's less Christian conservative women who are marriageable in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where I'm now going to law school, and I'm
Sure.
spending 3 years here,
Sure.
and I'm working and showing up. I'm moving between places. It's
Yeah.
made it harder to get married at the timeline I wanted to get married.
It is.
So I think there are just costs to these decisions. that
Whereas
we
if
make.
you had stayed in rural Alabama,
You probably would run into a
you'd
guy
probably
who's
be
solid.
married by now.
Yeah, who's a solid dude. But here's also the other thing. I will throw this in there too. God has given you gifts. Like he's made you smart.
Yeah.
He's made you capable. And if like truly you pray and God's put it in your heart to be where you are, his plan is good. His plan is good. And maybe it means you're not going to get married in the time scale you expect you will. But also he may want you to be the lawyer so that you can go out and represent him in different capacities in the
For
world.
sure. Yeah. You haven't made the wrong decision.
Well,
But it
maybe you
might-
have, but
Well,
I mean,
I
you
don't think
know.
you can mess up God's plan for your life as long as you're walking with him.
Exactly.
And if he's put a desire in your heart to be where you are, and he's also put on a desire for your heart to be married and have kids, then I think that you'll find a way to make those both happen.
He
In
will
a
work
way
it out.
that you might not even know right now.
Ask him for his guidance. I'm saying that maybe you have point of you making a wrong decision is saying sometimes we make decisions that are based on our own ambitions and we look back afterwards and we say, wow, I shouldn't have done that. But as God said, as Joseph said, actually, I think it's Joseph.
Okay, well,
it's
say the
scripture.
quote.
It's scripture. I'm pretty sure Joseph said this. He says, what you intended for evil,
That's
God intended
Joseph,
for good.
yeah.
What you intended for evil, God intended for good. Meaning like even the bad decisions you make, they can end up working out in ways we don't expect.
Not that you coming to law school as a woman is a bad decision.
I don't know whether or not, I don't know for myself. I sometimes am looking around and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have gone to law school. So it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is.
We always ask
Just keep
those
walking
questions.
with your shepherd.
Yeah, ask God for help with it and
Yeah.
pray to him.
Okay.
Anything else on this?
Nope, I don't think so.
We had a very interesting girl problems segment here.
It's all over the place. Did
We
it
had
get spicy enough, do you think?
I think I said some stuff I think I said some of the craziest stuff I've said in
Okay,
all of our
great.
podcasts.
Well, that's
during
what we're
this
going for.
episode.
So,
I'll see if I'll leave it in. Honestly. I'm terrified. Please don't cancel me.
I hope he does.
A lot of this was joking, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of good time. Beautiful view. Sun's kind of going down. Mason and I are going to go to Trader Joe's now. He's going to shop for me.
Yes, that's always
He
how this
doesn't know
goes.
that yet, but
Remember,
just told him.
okay, remember that you can submit voice memos through the link in the bio. You can also send in email questions through approachthebenchquestions@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. Our entire episode is often built out by the people who listen to this. We love you dearly, and we pray for you. God bless you. Jesus loves you.
Amen.
All right. Till next week.
Are we really going to end every episode with Jesus loves you? I didn't
Yes,
like
we are.
that at all.
Well, it's true. Jesus
it is
does love
true, but yeah, we don't have to end every episode like that. Anyway,
Focus
see
on
you
the
next
family.
week, everyone.